Ebusia for na tie for ni de kwan so me pa cho me ma obi bia akwaba eba channel so na me daily update TV. Ebusia me pa cho ye beka ya last week the Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayini went to appear before court. Na ono no reason is say na omuye training ama the state attorneys intino or the country letter kra koma court na grante no sa permission. Na me pa cho me I'm speaking vis-a-vis the removal of Chief Justice Tokorno in the case. I know na me talking about. Na ebusia ene dem because the Attorney General no echo court on any deputy some try AP omunyu na echo court na asese nkom be asem na so court na join sa case ni bi mako 6th May amako ye court na join ako 6th May na den ti court na join ko 6th May no me patcho Attorney General Krutinga Dominic Dr. Wapia Babonten e de nchiremu aba na me patcho ye beka ya that was last week. After I say court adjourn setting no indefinitely sini die no Godfred dami pie ba bonten be ka say as long as I womo afile sa application ni bibia no and as sa injunction no automatically was say the president of the Republic of Ghana seize sa process and ana Dr. Dominic Ayini wabe challenge no what was schooling no say now in December na wokan. The constitution makes it clear say won't me stop and as prevent president ne say the constitutional mandate na oyen onjai. Even class what filing case crowd or court that is okay, but the president can continue. President betuma to so the constitutional mandate because I know the law makes it so clear. We're schooling Dominic we're schooling and that is the former Attorney General. We're schooling ama so far make nenim kwa guasimpo ebusa video na be kwa kwhwe ye memma mekasa nyetinte na ne reaction yenko ti ensem na nkasa ne nchiremu emfiri Dr. Krutinga Ayini the current age no nyakopo nchiro bibia no nyobi akese medase bebre ye bedi nkomo achiri.
Yeah. Is the president's consultation with the Council of State? Well, I haven't spoken with the president yet, and I cannot give any definitive answer to the question whether the consultation will continue. What's your advice to him because of the the president and the republic are my clients. I will not advise my client publicly.
The last time the former Attorney General spoke, he said he expects nothing but the president to hold on the processes. Is that what is happening?
Well, he has filed an application in court. The court is here to make an order. So if he says that the president must hold on, is he saying that the court has already granted an order in respect of which the president, must not continue the process, right? First of all, he has to understand that this is the performance of a constitutional duty, all right? And the law is very clear that you cannot enjoin the performance of a constitutional or public obligation. And so, for me, I don't see the point that he's trying to make by saying that the president must hold on to the process of consultation.
His argument is that because of what is happening here at the Supreme Court, the president ought to hold on.
Well, that is why I have said the president is performing a constitutional duty, and the law is very clear that you cannot enjoin the performance of a public obligation.
What do you make of today's adjournment? The adjournment?
No, the adjournment is to May 6th. So, because one of the panel members was not, was unavoidably absent. And so the court has adjourned it to the 6th of May.
At the last session, the former Attorney General mentioned how
protection. Then hearing on the injunctions may sit citing unexplained circumstances. As basis, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayini, has argued that no law permits the prohibition of the president from performing a constitutional duty. A response to suggestions by a former Attorney General, Godfred that President Mahama must suspend his consultation with the Council of State on whether a committee should be set up to look into the petitions against the Chief Justice. As we know, 3 petitions are currently before the Council of State, all seeking to remove the Chief Justice, and it's expected that there will be a determination of a prima facie case in these matters. My colleague Lord Edwasare is joining us right now with details from the law court. Lord, first off, we understand the hearing could not take place. What are the reasons? Lord, I'm asking if you could provide us reasons why the hearing could not commence or start today.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I'm asking, no show again, with many looking forward to the injunction arguments being made and the court making a decision. Why didn't all of that happen today?
Hello?
Well, it does appear there's a bit of a difficulty with Lord hearing us at this point in time. We're going to walk you through the details of what this case has been, the trajectory of since when we got wind of the petitions being taken to the presidency, the president forwarding all of that. We will walk you through that, but let's hear from the Attorney General as well, Dr. Dominic Ayini, speak to my colleague Lord Eduasare and some other journalists after the court sitting today.
The decision whether or not to hear the case is not mine to make, all right? And the reason why we were absent at the last agenda date was because we organized a training far ahead of the date that was given to us by the court. And the training was for all state attorneys, right, by the ECOWAS Court of Justice. So they were being trained on the procedures and rules of the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And because of that, I was deeply involved in the training. My deputy was deeply involved in the training. The ECOWAS delegation that was doing the training was here in Accra. And we just asked for a date. Lawyers ask for this all the time when they are constrained and cannot be available in court. So for you to interpret that to mean that we are not willing, to go along with this process is totally unacceptable.
Let's go back to the courts, this time via the telephones, hopeful of a better connection to Lord Eduasare. Lord, try and explain to us why the court could not hear the injunction applications today.
Right, Marina. So when the case was called, we realized that instead of a panel of 5, 4 justices came to sit and was chaired by Justice Professor Henrietta Osei-Bonsu. The next thing was Justice Samuel Ikegu. Now, the presiding chair, who was Professor Henrietta Osei-Bonsu, indicated to the court and essentially the Attorney General and then the former Attorney General that due to unavoidable reason, they will have to adjourn the injunction hearing. Nothing was provided by way of reason to why, for example, the first member of the panel was absent. We just were told that there was a problem, and that was the unavoidable reason, Marina.
It means one of the justices of the Supreme Court was not present, hence forcing this adjournment to May 6th. But let's delve a bit into the argument that's been put forth by the Attorney General. We saw his affidavit, but he's been making it quite forcefully, portions of which we've been hearing. What more did he say as to the defense for the ongoing consultation between the President and the Council of State?
Right, so Marina, the suggestions or assertions by former Attorney General Godfred at the last agenda, now he indicated that by virtue of the fact that there's been an injunction at the apex court, the law prohibits the President from continuing with the consultation processes. Essentially, he noted that because of the injunction which has been filed, he ought to have halted the processes altogether. But explaining further, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic, indicated that no law bars the performance of a public officer, in this instance, the President, from performing his constitutional duty. And so the consultation processes with the Council of State regarding the petition to remove the Chief Justice of Tokorno would continue because the law does not provide for him to stop exercising his constitutional duty, Marina.
Right, Lord, just briefly as well, the lawyers for the two applicants who are seeking to have this ongoing process halted, what was their reaction to first the injunction application, and if there was any reaction to the AG's position as well?
Well, we didn't get any reaction from the former Attorney General Godfred, who is representing the plaintiff in the matter, also for Member of Parliament. As for the second plaintiff, Ebenezer Owusu, he has no representation whatsoever in court, and so once the announcement was made, it affected both injunction suits will not be heard, and they didn't seem too pleased, but I mean that was the direction of the court, and so they had to go with that. The former Attorney General, who is a lawyer for Vincent Atekwa, he didn't speak to the media, so there are no reactions from his end at this point, Marina.
Right then, Lord, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague, Lord Eduasare, with details for us from the Supreme Court. And I mentioned we're going to try and walk you through the trajectory of where we've come from up until this point in relation to these three injunctions seeking to remove the Chief Justice from her position. And it started off on March 25 when the President, we got wind via that communication by the Minister for Government Communications that the President had referred some three petitions to the Council of State in line with constitutional provisions. Then on the 27th, we got wind of the first suit, that one filed by Otafo Member of Parliament, questioning why the Chief Justice was not given a hearing in the determination of the prima facie case. On that same day as well, the news of the second individual who'd sued also became known to the media as well. Then on that same day, we know that the Chief Justice wrote to the President asking for copies of the petition. A day after, the President wrote back to the Chief Justice. You recall the President expressed some level of disappointment that the Chief Justice's letter was in the media and being widely discussed before I could even get to his office, and then a response will come through as well. But the President subsequently gave the Chief Justice an extended period, reason for which she could respond. 10 days, that day has elapsed. And originally, this case, which has been postponed again, was to be heard on the 9th of April. On that day, the Attorney General was not present, and so there was an indefinite adjournment. And then we return today, the 16th day of April 2025, and what we're told is that they adjourned again due to unavoidable reasons. And May sit now is a date set by the court to sit and hear these two injunction applications. Questions may be asked, what will become of the process if a determination is reached by the Council of State? Well, that and many more is what we'll continue to find out for you if you stay with us here on TV3. For now, though, let's bring you a lot more stories.
In high-impact areas. Let's take a listen to the President as he launched the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today marks a defining moment in our national journey. We're not merely launching a program, but we're laying a foundation for a new economy. We're declaring with boldness and purpose that Ghana is ready to lead in the digital age. We're saying to our youth, to our communities, to the continent, and to the world that the future is here, and we'll be part of shaping it. The 1 Million Coders program is not just a fulfilled campaign promise. It is a strategic pillar of our Reset Ghana agenda, designed to empower Ghanaians with digital skills critical for 21st century life and work. It is an intentional move towards building a knowledge-based, innovation-driven economy, one where our greatest resource, our people, are equipped to create solutions, generate jobs, and be able to compete globally. At the heart of this initiative is our belief in Ghanaian youth. We believe in your creativity, your resilience, and your boundless potential. This program is an investment in our youth, an investment in their future as coders, as analysts, as entrepreneurs, and as tech pioneers. When I asked for your mandate to serve once more as president, I made a promise that our national recovery will be people-centered, innovation-led, and future-focused. And that recovery begins by breaking down the barriers that hold us back, social, economic, and digital. Today, we begin breaking down those barriers. Over the next 4 years, the 1 Million Coders program will train 1 million Ghanaians in essential digital skills, from coding and cybersecurity to data analytics and networking. These are not just technical abilities, they are economic passports, pathways to decent jobs, entrepreneurship, and long-term social economic inclusion. We do not walk this path alone. Across the globe, nations that recognize the power of coding early have positioned themselves for extraordinary progress.
Mahama there. We can now speak to our presidential affairs correspondent, Komla Kluche, who sat through the launch of this program. Komla, we know that the president also inspected some classes and lessons being taken by the students who have been activated already. What did he find?
Well, importantly, it must be stated that the implementers of this coding thing remains the Kofi Annan International ICT Center, which has sponsorship from the Indian the Kofi Annan India International Center for Learning. These are the implementers of the program. But in going to the classrooms, what the president identifies is to the effect that the young ones who are taking part in this are doing this voluntarily because they also feel that it is a part of them, and that in the application of their daily lives, whichever workspace they find themselves, it is important that coding leads the way. One, he makes the point that Estonia, when they started, that's a classical example of a country that has benefited a lot from the coding thing. They're starting with 5 regions, and the Kofi Annan, like I did say, is the main implementers. But the communications and digitalization minister, Sam George, has also been speaking to the effect that even as of this morning, those who have applied to be a part of this, the target is for 1 million, but as of this morning, they have had in excess of 91,000. And that this is good news, looking at the fact that it's going to be a 4-year span and even right across that. And so this is welcome news, but the government will continue to support it. Let's listen to what Sam George had to say.
Ghana, it is estimated that only 7% of the youth have access to structured digital training. And across sub-Saharan Africa, nearly 60% of our young people lack foundational digital skills. This gap isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a barrier to progress, and we must break it down. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the 1 Million Coders program will provide comprehensive training in coding and digital skills, initially in 4 locations, and later spread out nationwide. Ghana India Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT, where we are this morning, is leading the content creation and training of the program. The center has developed a standardized curriculum in multiple digital disciplines at the beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels to create a uniform training ecosystem for all Ghanaians, irrespective of the part of our country in which they reside. The initial courses for the pilot include Certified Cybersecurity Professional, Certified Network Support Technician, Certified Data Protection Manager, Certified Data Protection Expert, Certified Data Protection Officer, Certified Data Protection Professional, and Data Analyst Associate. Mr. President, we planned to do the pilot with 260 students. But within the first 4 hours of announcing, we had over 4,000 applications. We decided to do a double track and do 520. As at this morning, about 30 minutes ago, the number of applications we have received is 91,847 applications.
Sam Nate George is Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation. Komla Kluche, who's joining us via video call, is our Presidential Affairs Correspondent. Komla, we also know that the minister, while speaking, had said this was a bold initiative to equip young people with digital skills. Do we know the nature of the programs that they are taking?
Well, fine details of this would be put out subsequently, but the president did indicate that he's directed the Minister for Communication and Digitalization to hold talks. In fact, he makes a point that the talks are already ongoing with the Minister of Education to have this embedded in the tertiary education. And so students right from the first year would be going through this right at the tertiary level. This is to equip them. And so once you get into the job field, then you know that, okay, this is where you want to be. But coding will equip them in terms of jobs that they are supposed to gain and how they are supposed to drive their own future.
Do we know yet, Kamala, how this will be replicated across the country and not just here?
Like it did indicate, it's more of a pilot as we speak now. But as of the launch this morning, they have had students from Sunyani, they've had students from Bolga, and they've also had students from Kumasi as well. And so it does appear that even though they want to roll on the pilot basis, it appears the interest is more than they expect. And so from my readings, it does appear that they would want to span or really try to broaden the spectacle. But as to the time limit, that's what is not known yet. But in the coming weeks or so, we get understanding that the fine details of it would be put out there.
Godfred Amede said because the constitution makes it so clear, say, me and Gage, the president said the constitutional mandate now or just because of work of file and that's our client of file a injunction or court. No. And this at all. Because last week now Godfred Amede all baby no kika because say the current AG that is Ayini Dominic, Doctor Wamba, intino no nam no keka say doctor no so about no so be say look. Yes, na constitution e kire. Yes, na kire kra. Busia ya de nkomo de besia open view e wo comment section on e be gene akenkan da se bebre.